Yes, action. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is your old pal Matt Prophet, the Rhino, the Artful Rhino. It pleases me to be here for an episode of OVW Rise. It is Thursday, February the 15th. This is episode 5 of RHINOTalk. And today, I am pleased to be joined by a gentleman who a couple of you referred to me for an episode. You asked for him. I am here to vibe with him. Ladies and gentlemen, multiple-time OVW heavyweight champion, as well as TV champion. Ladies and gentlemen, an OVW Hall of Famer in his own right, Jamin Olivencia. Jamin,
what's up, man?
Thank you very much for joining us today. And a couple of our viewers, we were wanting to discuss. We got a special guest. Hello, what's going on?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. A couple of our viewers, since we talked at Tough Love, have been wondering about what we're going to be talking about this evening, and I've been informing them that we're going to be discussing some personal development. One thing I wanted to start off with as far as development was, as far as your origin in OVW, how long did it take you to get from where you started in the wrestling business to where we are today?
How long did it take me? I would say, my wrestling journey really started when I was 4 years old. For me, it was when I saw wrestling on the television for the first time. That's when my journey began. So when we're talking about what is this journey to me, it goes back to even before I got here. It goes back to when I was just a child and I was dreaming about it, and I saw myself in arenas performing in front of people, becoming a champion myself, and I think that mindset has carried over to not only when I was in school growing up, but also when I finally got to Ohio Valley Wrestling. I was 18 years old, and immediately attacked this business with much fierceness, because it was something that I've been clamoring to do for such a long time.
Oh, believe me, I would be the same place. I remember growing up watching OVW when I was going through high school. I graduated in 2008, and one of my very first matches that I've seen you personally was it was a house show at the St. Teresa Gym over in Germantown. And personally, I want to give you some feedback. When I saw you wrestle, I knew you were going to be one of the guys that people will talk about for years to come. So,
thank you.
And to tell you the truth, if I ever did get into the business, you would be one of my influences.
Thank you.
Speaking of influences, on your journey to OVW, you mentioned you watched it, you were hooked when at a very young age. Who would you say was your main influence that made you decide you wanted to compete?
Yeah, Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels was the reason why I got in the wrestling business. I give him a lot of the credit. I mean, I think he was such a good storyteller, and the way he conveyed emotion, I thought was different than anyone else, and I felt like it was raw, and it was really him expressing himself in the best in the best way he could, and so he was kind of always an influence. And I think whenever I performed out there, I always think about Shawn Michaels, or how would Shawn Michaels handle this situation, and big influence on me. Yeah, Shawn Michaels, great storyteller, great performer, greatest of all time in my eyes.
That's one thing I would like to mention. I didn't really have it on a question, but you mentioned he was a storyteller. Since your comeback to OVW, I know you've kind of taken upon a new persona as far as your character and development. Would you mind describing your current role in OVW to us, as opposed to when you first burst on the scene?
Yeah, I think, from your standpoint, it's a different persona, but from my standpoint, it's me stepping more into who I've always been. And I feel like this is who I am more than ever now. I think to someone who had known my work before, they'd say this is a different persona, but really I think this was the persona or the Jamin that was always there, that was dormant, and the one from the past that was achieving to be. So I feel like this is nothing more than an evolution of who I am,
I was just suggesting
rather than me sitting at home and saying, what is my shtick that I'm going to do? It's important to me that I am who I am.
That's one thing I mentioned before we were taping, like your character's development or evolution, so to speak. It's almost like each superstar, no matter if you're just getting started like an indies or you're a pro, even the Undertaker had a few stages in his career. You had the Dead Man, the American Badass, you had Big Evil, you had the Streak, which has always been there, but you had several different versions of it.
Yeah.
The American Badass, as I stated, Big Evil, and then you had the Phenom, and now you've got the Hall of Fame. So that's one thing I was wanting to, probably about what you mentioned, impromptu kind of thing. As far as development, a friend of mine, a couple questions before I get to the family-related questions. As far as development, I know I've vied with Big Zoe and Mammoth about this, but what can you tell us about your workout routine and how you're able to adapt into different, as far as getting prepared for a big match, especially one that you may or may have coming up in the future?
I train jiu-jitsu. So jiu-jitsu is a martial art. It is a grappling martial art, and it is one of my passions outside of professional wrestling. So
that's what I was gonna. You actually answered one of my next questions. What's your athletic background? So impartial. Do you have any other sports athletics background?
Yeah, I was a power lifter, a New York State powerlifting champion when I was 16. But as far as athletics is concerned, I did a little bit of everything. I played a little bit of football, a little bit of soccer, a little bit of basketball, safety. But I didn't necessarily enjoy them though. It wasn't my passion. I always knew wrestling was my passion. So by the time I was 17 years old, I begged my mother to sign a waiver for me so I can go ahead and do this professional wrestling thing. So
yeah.
It was that was always my focus.
Thanks, Mom.
Absolutely.
So, let's see. I had these in the back. I had a couple of these back to back. My friend Jennifer wants to know. If someone is trying for personal development, it doesn't feel like they're accomplishing anything. What would you advise? Any tips?
The question one more time. If someone's trying to work on their own personal development
and doesn't feel that they are accomplishing it, would you have any advice? So basically, yes. If someone is trying for personal development, if I could rephrase it, and they don't feel like it's actually working, would you have any advice or any pro tips or?
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that you're a multi-dimensional human being, not just a human, but a spirit. And there are many aspects to us that we're not aware of. So say you are trying to work on your personal development and become stronger as a human, but yet you feel like you're still falling short. I would actually take a pause and look a little more deeper, because if you're not getting results from working on your own personal development, something tells me you're not disciplined in a certain area in life, and it keeps repeating over and over again. Therefore, the reason why you keep having that mindset, to me, is a thought process. It is a command that you have to tell yourself. It is not something that needs to happen to you on the outside of this world to make you feel better about yourself. You have to take action in everything you do, and I think that's one of the most powerful things a human being can do, is just take action of themselves. But to take action of yourself doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I got to be positive today. It's hold yourself accountable for the things that you're avoiding. If you know that you should be doing something and you're not doing it, well, that falls on you. You can't come back and say, well, it's because of X, Y, or Z, or I'm working on my personal development, but yet I don't have this result. Does that make sense?
It does.
So,
yes.
so I think it's as simple as kind of going back and asking yourself, what am I not doing that I should be doing, and you need to attack that, so that when you do accomplish that, you actually feel accomplished in what the thing you did. Does that make sense?
Right. So basically, it's to challenge yourself, because if there's some people, like I mentioned the question, if there's some people that are just doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result, that's basically, if they're not digging deep enough, they're basically doing the definition of insanity, right?
Yes. And now I don't know her situation, but you know, there's details to it. But I'm sure, you know, it's a very simple question, very simple answer. But the human being is complex, and you have to understand all aspects of yourself. And I believe in understanding your spiritual self, understand who you are, what you are inside. Going back to the persona, you said, you know, you get different persona. No, I stepped into who I am. And I feel good about that today as a human being, as Jamin, the human. Not a wrestling character, not some guy putting on a facade, me being who I am, you know?
Right. Since we're on the subject of who you are, what's a typical day in the life of Jamin Olivencia, the everyday person, as opposed to the one we see in OVW every night in the ring?
Yeah, so I have clients. Outside of professional wrestling, I run my own business. I'm a personal development coach and a business coach. So I have various different clients who need help with various different things. But the idea is that we're always studying the human condition. You know, what is the nature of reality? And through studying this and through always working on ourselves, we begin to find our goals met and find new things to be accomplishing. So for me, I think it's really just focusing on my clients, but most importantly, other than my clients, being a good father and being a good influence on my daughter, and also listening to what her needs are, and you know, in many ways, she's my teacher too, you know. So I like being a family guy, and I like my business, and I just like being alive. I enjoy the process of being alive. This is a short time we're going to be here.
And you know what? I cannot agree with you more, because it's like every day is a new day. I mean, even I can tell you that right now I'm feeling connection between you and I. We have to live in the moment and not focus on 10 years from now. We only get one life, right? And that's...
Yes, and it's being created now, and 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 now, right? It's never. It's only happening though right now.
Right.
And then this conversation will be over. Yes, that's a future tense, but that's now then, right? Like at that point. So it's holding yourself and being aware of yourself now.
What kind of advice would you give someone who may be, since we're on the subject of the end now, like let's say if somebody wants to step out of their comfort zone and say they want to do something or experience something new and they're unsure of it, what advice would you be willing to throw out there to the people who may be wanting to do something they've never done before, like let's say they wanted to start training for OVW. What advice would you want to give them if they're unsure? And let's say if they actually are sure. Number two, what advice would you give the ones who are actually serious and they want to go ahead and jump in?
Well, to the ones who are serious, I would say, if you're really serious, make sure you dedicate all of you to the art of whatever it is you're trying to learn. Make sure you put yourself in a good position where you're the first one there, last one to lead, hardest worker there. I just believe in hard work. I don't think you're gonna, if you really want to be successful, the truth is, and this isn't like some secret, like you have to go out and you have to work very hard and do the very best you can and make sure you learn from your mistakes and hold yourself accountable for things that you are or are not doing. So I think if you're really into it, that's what you should do. And if you're not sure if you're into it or not, and you're kind of debating, well, I think just like anything in life, if you want to grow, you have to step out of your comfort zone. So it's as simple as that to me. But taking that action, I think, will give you enough knowledge if those decisions are right for you. You know, one doesn't really know until they step into it. We can think about it all day and say, well, this is how I imagine it for myself, but until you're actually in it, you don't know if you love it or not. So why not find out? It's not going to kill you.
Right. Now there's this one question that a couple of fans asked me to ask you. It's basically a multiple part question. Like, can you give us any advice on developing? Let's say if you formed a relationship with someone, it could be a friendship or an alliance, and you want to further develop their relationship down the road, be it personally or a semi-personal, semi-professional basis. Sort of like what we have. How would you, what kind of advice would you give us as far as, like for example, our relationship, semi-personal, semi-professional, person to person. What advice would you give them about further developing any sense, personally and then professionally?
Well, I think if you want to develop a relationship with anybody, whether it's personal, professional, romantic, what have you, I think you have to be good at communicating. And I think you have to not assume what other people are always thinking, and have the courage to talk to them openly about things. But to do that, to even get into that open state or get them open, I think you have to show a sense of professionalism and be polite, no matter who you meet. Even if it's somebody I don't know, you know what I mean, I'm going to be respectful towards them. You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna start shit with them. I mean,
Amen.
that's, you know what I mean.
Amen,
like,
brother.
I just think it's as simple as like just being a good human being. I mean, it doesn't take much to be a good human being. It doesn't take much to walk up to someone and if they say hi to you, you say hi back and hello and a smile, and that's all it has to be. It doesn't have to go any further. But I think any relationship you're in, you should understand how to communicate. I think you should understand how to communicate honestly and not be afraid to express yourself. But also at the same time, be professional in what you are. Don't go telling people who you are all the time. You know, get to know them, get curious about them. I mean, there are a lot of, it's a loaded question in a sense, because I think there are a lot of contexts that go into what a relationship is, professionally or personally, or any of that. It's kind of it depends on how deep you want to go down that rabbit hole if we're going to discuss, you know, the nature of it.
Right. I see what you're saying as far as like, but then again, with mutual respect and the mutual feelings for each other on either or, would you agree there may be, as far as like them intertwined, would you agree that there may be some boundaries here there that may need to be set?
I think boundaries should always be set. It just depends on what's the nature of a relationship. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yes.
Like I know you right now, you know me right now. We talked on Facebook to set up this interview.
Yes.
I would say I know you on a professional basis. I don't know if I know you personally. You know, we know aspects of each other. We opened up about that. But I mean, we don't like, we're not like brothers. You know what I mean? We're not like hanging out every day. And so, is your question more about like how to strengthen a relationship? Is your question?
Well, not exactly, but when you put it like that, yes. As far as how can you strengthen a relationship if you only know someone, let's say, on either or, a professional and or.
I think it's important to understand what your relationship is to someone, and if that's what it is, then it's fine the way it is. If, say you meet someone tonight at the show and they say, man, I'd really like to talk to you again and hang out with you and we can play some video games or something, then that's another level of a relationship, right? Like of a friendship. Now you're getting into the friendship, and now you have a new friend. And so I think, how do you know? I think it's telling when someone is wanting to talk more or whatever. Like right now we're in a relationship of doing media, right? Like you asked to interview me.
Yes.
I agreed.
Yes.
We have similar backgrounds and our, you know, if you want to call it lack of whatever, but really I think it's superpowers, you know. You know, both special ed students essentially, you know, we have the same we have a lot of similarities, so I connect with you on that level, so therefore I have a natural respect for you no matter what, you know.
And I on a similar basis, yet equal basis, have a respect for you, not just as a fan, but person to person, especially similar similarities as far as special ed students. I have an equal respect for you as well.
We've been through the same mud, in other words. So
Yes.
I mean, it's but it doesn't make us different or better or worse than anyone else. So
Right.
so therefore, I think when we're talking about relationships and building relationships with anybody, I think the number one rule, in my opinion, is don't be an asshole.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just don't be an asshole. And
You hear that, world? I know there's a lot of people out there that use this hashtag be kind. I encourage you to follow that as well.
I just think it's as simple as that. I don't think it has to be that difficult, and it doesn't really take much to be nice. And if you're not in the mood to be nice to anybody, you don't have to be nice to anybody either. But all I'm saying is, like, it doesn't hurt to be
Right.
nice. Like, it feels good when you empower somebody for a second. Hey, how are you? You having a good day? Okay, makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. I don't know what's being lost there, right? So
Right,
it's a
right.
good situation.
I do have a friend who's watching. My friend Michael Bush, who has Down syndrome. He's also in my
Awesome.
he's also a bandmate, and he wanted me to ask you if you would give him a shout out and maybe say hello and offer him some words of encouragement in his journey through music.
Yeah, and his name again one more time?
Michael Bush.
All right, Michael Bush. Well,
Not to be confused with the football player from Louisville.
all right, fair enough. Well, Michael Bush, here's what I can say to you, my friend. Get to know your craft as best as you can. Have a lot of fun, and don't be so hard on yourself. You know, like, if you see that you're not doing good in a certain area, work hard to perfect that aspect of it, and let the talent do its talking. Let the music do its talking. Good luck to you, and I wish you the best.
You hear that, Mikey? Do your best, buddy. We love you, man. Now, in closing, just a couple as far as if you wanted to further your development, were there any? You mentioned you did some classes. Would you mind telling us a little bit about the classes you lead or teach, as far as on your standpoint goes, from your?
Yeah, so I teach classes on communication. I think some of the world's biggest problems is that we just don't communicate properly to each other,
Right.
or we approach communication in a lousy manner, and when it can be much more empathetic and thought-provoking, and yeah. But I also do classes on out-of-body experiences. I like to teach people how to leave their bodies, and yeah.
I understand you also teach meditation classes.
I do a little bit, yes, I do.
I may need to talk to you about this because I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Steven Eversland. SK, this was for you, baby. I too have a little bit of stress-related stuff, so I would like some pointers here or there. If you're open to doing maybe like a seminar or something in the future.
Yeah, sure, we could do that. We could set that up. And here's what I'd say, and this is for any of your viewers who are listening. A simple meditation technique that you can do when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed is just keep your eyes open and take as many deep breaths as you possibly can. Focus on your breaths, but as you're focusing on each breath, I want you to imagine that when you are breathing it in, just imagine that you are taking in the earth, you are taking the power of the universe, and you are literally relaxing yourself. You are telling yourself that I am changing as you are doing it. If you do this enough times, you will find that your mind will come very relaxed very quickly, and it doesn't take much. It's just a matter of having discipline. Most people don't want to do it. They don't want to be disciplined, but the more disciplined you are, the better you're going to feel in your mind, the more you can navigate this place called Earth. Remember, we are multi-dimensional beings.
Multi-dimensional, yes.
We think this is just me, but there is much to you that is inside, and one has to go inside in order to understand that.
Very well. Now, in closing, I do have one final question I have to ask, and I usually do this for the last few people I've done. I get the Hartford over here. Is there anyone you wish to give some thanks to as far as support on your journey? Anyone you would like to thank, or anyone you would like to give a special shout out to, or thanks to, as far as supporting on your journey, not just in pro wrestling, but for in your personal development, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
It can be both, too.
it's always it's for me. It's always you know, my boys in wrestling know who they are. They know I'm grateful for them every day. But always, I give my daughter all the attention. She's the one that is my inspiration. She is my everything. My family, of course, and I just enjoy life, man. Thanks for the fans too. Like whoever just is. Even if you're watching this, you know me, you don't know me, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I appreciate the energy that is being put towards me and my life, and I feel like I'm a very lucky guy, and I feel like life is short, and it's important to tell those who you love that you appreciate them all the time. Always give them a shout out, like not just on special occasions, but like every day, because every day matters.
Very well. Yes, it does. And with that, this concludes episode 5 of RHINOTalk. Jamin, thank you very much for taking the time. I greatly appreciate this.
My pleasure.
I know I've been looking forward to this for a long time. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said in my last 2 episodes with Mammoth and Big Zoe, we are live at OVW's Hot Point Davis Arena. If you all would like to see more of Jamin, Zoe, Mammoth, or any of the talent down here, feel free to go on to ovwrestling.com. We are live here for OVW's Rise in just a couple hours. I will be in attendance tonight watching the fine men and women put their lives on the line for us. Again, we are live at the Hot Point Davis Arena, 4400 Shepherdsville Road, home of Ohio Valley Wrestling, tomorrow's superstars today. For Jamin Olivencia, my name is Matt Prophet, the Artful Rhino. Like, comment, subscribe, smash the hell out of that notification bell, ring it like you're winning the World Championship. Jamin, thank you very much.
Peace, man.
And OVW Rise, we are out of here. And RHINOTalk, here we go.